Okay, so just a quick test with some manual settings. So I've dialed in 50 on the shutter and I've took it to its base ISO over 100 as well. On the screen, it doesn't look bad at all. I'm in D-Cine like as well for its log profile, or for its gamma profile, sorry. Let's see, 4K shooting at 25, hence why 50th on the shutter, although I will be putting this down to 1080 for uploading purposes, as long as it's all fine. Audio, I've set the mic to high. I will center one channel, limit it, raise it to just below 0 and try and get a punchy output. No EQing at this stage, just purely dynamics. I think that's about it. Did they cover everything? Yeah, so 4400 Kelvin, 50th on the shutter, base ISO 100, high on the mic. Yeah, so let's just see what that's all gonna do. And also I'm in that FPV or POV as I call it mode anyway. So what I'm gonna do, oh yeah, and before I started, I tapped the screen on me for focus. So what I'm gonna do is just do a little bit of a walk with it. Because, you know, if I get into it and I really like it, then I'll buy NDs for it, and then obviously I can dial in my own exposure settings on very bright days with NDs. But right now, because it's lowered down the light, it's gonna be fine. Now the other thing is I'm gonna go into something very dark here now and then come back out of the dark thing. But before I do that, I'm gonna turn around. The sun is up behind me now, although it is, you know, it is in cloud now, or it's dropping, so I won't get any kind of weirdness I wouldn't have thought as far as, you know, that blowing out behind me. It might be blown out anyway. And I think as well, you can't tell that easily with the D-Cine like gamma setting either. Sometimes you can't tell as to what it's doing as far as exposure. I mean, it's virtually impossible to check anything on this tiny little screen. It's a case of running a lot of tests, get familiar with it, and then know what it does in certain conditions, as with any camera. Because the other thing here as well, what I'm going to do, you know, I am specifically testing for specific things which I believe it's going to be able to do properly and really good at. Because after the first one, I've learned to dial back my expectations with this one, which is always the medicine that I force down other people's throats. So yeah, I've had to kind of swallow a big spoonful of that one for myself. Because the thing is, I got shut of the first one for legitimate reasons really though, because it did have a problem, but I took that opportunity to get the refund because I wasn't entirely sure when the mic adapter was going to be available and all that stuff. And then I went and bought a GoPro 7. I've got a Galaxy S10 as well, so I've got like the latest smartphone, which is probably going to be the best thing for doing this type of stuff with, and then the best action camera. The only thing is the GoPro 7, it's brilliant in certain ways as an action cam, you know, it is the pinnacle of action cams, but it got my skin tones all messed up when the sun went very bright. And the thing is, the only way I could get around that was having to force it into Pro Tune mode. Well, for certain things, I just want to get out and film stuff. I don't want to be, and then come in, edit it dead quick, and then chuck it out as fast as possible. In that instance, you know, I don't even want to be using D-Cine like or any weird log gamma curves for anything like that, because it just requires more time in post to correct it all and get it back, so that you're exposing properly within like a Rec 709 color space or Rec 709 gamma, which is eventually what it all ends up as anyway. So yeah, the GoPro 7 didn't really suit me because it was flaring out. My skin tones are making me go orange and stuff. It was quite distressing. So yeah, so after I thought about it, I thought, you know what, it feels like, you know, the Pocket was the best one at all these things. So like I say, it's just a case of dialing it back, just working out some very specific things to do with it, work out the stuff that it is really good at, and then concentrate on what it's good at, you know, and stop bitching and moaning about what it can't do. You know, there are legitimate things to bitch and moan about that it can't do, but, you know, they may be things that might get fixed further down the line. And I don't advocate this whole thing about fixing things with firmware. People have just become too used to that. You know, you wouldn't buy a car with only 3 wheels and then the dealer says, oh, don't worry, in a month's time we've got a fix for that, you'll get the 4th wheel. You know, so you wouldn't accept that, and you should never accept it either with any of this gear. Although, like I say, I've tempered my expectations this time round. So yeah, I'll see how that goes. And plus also, I picked this one up for £250 as well, so I can't moan. I just found a place in China that's selling proper GoPro audio adapters for £25. So it's going to take about 10,000 years for it to arrive, but nonetheless, now that I've spent a lot less money on this Pocket system, you know, it'll help me to absorb a bit of disappointment with it as well. So it'll definitely give me time to work out what it is best at. And, you know, like it was kind of like going on about before, to do with the microphone stuff, that's where I really want to get my teeth into it. I'd like to think, you know, that maybe some people have misunderstood the mic system on it, or the external microphone system, and maybe there's a lot there to be found out. And that being the case, I definitely will find it, because obviously, you know, being an audio person for over 30 years, there's not much that I don't really know about microphones and stuff. So yeah, I'll get into all that as soon as. Although that said, I was, you know, I'd kind of accepted to buy the DJI one, but I think it said maybe 7 to 10 days for the for it to like be sent. So I'm thinking, you know, because at first I was going to be able to borrow one of these, but it worked out to manage to find one for the right price. So I thought, yeah, go for it. Anyways, this is definitely going to have given me a ton of example. Now what I'm going to do is just point into this traffic behind me here. So I might as well do this just whilst I'm by the road. So basically, I mean, you can see here there is a ton of traffic. Am I being picked up enough over that traffic? Because don't forget, it's an omnidirectional microphone on this. It's not a cardioid or anything. But, you know, I am in between the camera and that traffic, so hopefully my voice was getting picked up the most, like, out of all the noises that the camera was capable of picking up there. Okay, so I think that's definitely going to be the end of this test. And the other thing as well is to have checked to see what it was like, if it had any jitter. Actually, I'll just finish off. I'll do some kind of slowish and then fastest pans here. So specifically, that jitter thing. Now that jittering can be put down to two things. One will be the indifference with shutter speeds, but I won't have that now because I've locked it to a 50th of me shooting, or I've stuck it to, you know, a 180-degree rule. So I'm double me shooting rate here. So that definitely won't cause any stuttering. Now the only other way that any stuttering can be done here is if the gimbal itself introduces it. So again, I kind of need these bars behind me here. I might see something on them as they go by, because you really do need vertical objects to test for that, unless it's just an outright skipping and jumping. Okay, so that's a really slow one, and then what I'll do, I'll kind of give it one of them, maybe go a bit faster. And it's a good job I haven't had my tea yet, because I'll be throwing up like a child about now on a merry-go-round. Alright, so, whoa, that went dizzy. Right, so I'm going to definitely give that a miss now, because I need to go and get food and observe what I've been recording. Anyway, so if I put this live and anyone's seen it, I hope you've liked it. I've been David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.